Hi, my name is Spacegoat and welcome to my tutorial. Today I'm going to go over how to port a Pavlov map to a Contractors one. So first you're going to go to Contractors mod.io page. While you're here, make sure to smash that subscribe button on my Zelda map. And once you've done that extremely important step, head over to the guide section and open the how to install guide. Since we're going to be porting a Pavlov map, I'm going to assume that you already have a GitHub and Unreal account. But if you need a refresher, there is a video available, or you can just scroll through the text-based guide. The only thing to really keep in mind when you're watching that video is in the part where he's downloading the GitHub files. There's now actually more than the 10 zip files he shows, so make sure to explain the hidden ones and get those too. Now, I'm going to assume that you followed the rest of the guide and that you got to the point where you open up the project for the first time in the standalone client that they provided. This error that comes up, I'm pretty sure you can just ignore it, so I just always exit out of it. It hasn't really seemed to affect anything for me. And under that is this menu where you make your actual mod template. If you don't see the window, you can open it up here in the top. So first you're going to click on the new map button, and then you'll enter your mod name here. Today I'm porting my Windows 95 maze map from Pavlov, so I'm going to name it that. And then I'm going to fill out my author name and description. Once you've entered your deets, you'll hit the Create Mod button. Now you should see your map's content folder in the content browser. This is where the default blank map as well as the map data resides. Now that the content folder has been created, we can go ahead and close out of this Unreal and then open up the Epic browser and open up the version of Unreal that's used for Pavlov. Contractors uses 4.27, so you want to choose whatever version you use for Pavlov. I haven't messed with it in a while, so I'm still on the 420 Blazor version. And then at this point, we're obviously going to open up the map that you want to port. So here's my map. I'm sure you already know how to navigate, but in case you forgot, your content's located in the UGC folder. You don't have to worry about deleting any spawns or like Pavlov logic or anything. Everything Pavlov related gets removed when we migrate it over automatically. And we're going to right click on the content folder and then hit migrate in that drop down menu, and then finally hit the OK button afterwards. Now you're going to navigate back to your project folder wherever you had saved it. I personally made a shortcut for easy access since you're probably going to be going back and forth a lot. Now when I went through the how to install tutorial, it asked me to make a new folder for the project, and it added a 4.27 at the end, so you want to migrate it to the content folder within there. Your folder structure may be slightly different depending on where you saved it, so make sure you're migrating to the correct one. Now that it's been migrated, you can go ahead and yeet the old Unreal Engine in the trash, and then open up the standalone one that Contractors provided. I made the engine itself a shortcut within the quick assets folder that I had made, so that I don't have to dig through the folders to find it. This will make it a lot easier when you have to repackage and reopen Unreal when you're testing your maps. For reference, the mods test folder is in your Steam apps folder wherever you have Contractors installed through Steam. But the editor itself is wherever you save the mod kit. Once Unreal loads, go ahead and open up the project that you had made. There should only be the one. Contractors is a bit different than Pavlov, where you make all your maps under the same project rather than making separate projects to upload. But I'll touch on that later since we're just working with the one map for now. Once again, we're going to close the error, and then we can close the mod creation box as well since we already made the mod folder previously. Now you should see your UGC folder having been imported to the custom maps folder under the main content folder in the content browser. Simply drag the whole thing over to your maps content folder and then hit move here. Now that the assets are in the project folder, we're going to open up the map mod data and associate our map to it. Once you've opened up the map data, just go ahead and drag the level into the map mod area. Now for the compatible game modes, I'm only going to select TDM and Domination, as they're the most played, and I'm just trying to show you how to get this to a playable state. Once you get your map working, you can go back and add more game modes later. Display name is going to be what the map name looks like in game. A lot of people have been using the old source map methodology like DE_dust2, so I've been trying to keep it similar to that. Then finally, I just used the icon I made for Pavlov as the icon here. This is used for the in-game minimap, but I'm not going to delve too much to that in this video. We can go ahead and open up our map. Everything should be more or less the same except for all the Pavlov logic and stuff, and possibly any custom scripts depending on how you went about them. In my other maps, some of the blueprints work for me just fine, as they're things that Unreal Engine just understood natively, but others, like for example destructible meshes, didn't work for me after migrating since Contractors doesn't allow outside plugins. Next we're going to create spawns, and to do that, first we have to create some sublevels. Just right click in the content browser and then click level underneath the create basic asset in that dropdown. Name it TDM and then hit enter. After that, repeat the process again, but this time name it Domination. Now go to your Levels tab, and then drag the TDM and Domination levels underneath the persistent level. You can save all three after. Now this map may deceive you since it's sort of a meme map, but I usually like to keep the world outline and pretty organized. I'm going to start off by making a general spawn folder, and then I'm going to create 3 subfolders underneath it. One for dynamic spawns, and then 2 starting spawns for each team. Now scroll up to the main contractors content folder, and we're going to look for the pre-made spawns. They're located into the map utilities folder and then under the player start folder. Before I place them, I try to get an overview of the map to guesstimate the best placements. This gets easier with testing, but all you really need to know is that you need at least 8 starting spawns for each team and then 16 dynamic spawns overall. I ultimately decided to start with 4 spawns on each outer wall to give distance between the players. Now I'm going to show you a very common mistake people make when they're first adding the spawns. I'm going to select the pre-game player start blueprint and then move it straight into the scene. Now, the way it works is that whatever level is selected, it's going to be the one where the spawn is being placed, and since I still had Domination selected, it placed it there, rather than placing it as a spawn under TDM like I wanted to start off with. So to fix that, I just deleted the spawn I had made under the wrong sublevel, and then double click the TDM level so that it's the highlighted one. Now I can go ahead and place the starting spawn correctly. By default, it's going to be set to Team 1, so I'm going to move it into the Team 1 spawn folder. After that, I'm just going to copy and use the movement widgets to move them around where I want, pretty much identical to Pavlov in that regard. Once all of Team 1 is done, I'm going to place another pregame player start, but this time change it to Team 2 and then move it under its respective folder. Then I just repeated the process of duplicating these so that there's also 8 of them like there was for Team 1. Now that starting spawns are done, we're going to place dynamic spawns, which should be familiar to you if you use Pavlov. Players won't spawn again in the starting one, so keep that in mind when you're placing the dynamic ones. It's recommended to place at least 16, one for each potential player, but I like putting more sometimes as it can feel kind of campy if you don't have as many. It really depends on your map though, and again, it's best learned through playtesting. Once everything is placed to your liking, you can confirm that it was placed in the correct sublevel by hiding the TDM visibility, which should only hide the spawns that you had placed into it. Now the easiest way I find to move spawns through other sublevels is to highlight them while you're in the sublevel that owns them. Copy them, hide the level, switch to the other sublevel, and then paste them. Now you'll see if we hide the Domination sublevel, those spawns will disappear. I'm gonna skip player starts for now, because Domination, if you didn't know, is just capture point. There's various flag zones the teams have to go and capture to accrue points over time, so I want to play the starting points after I decide where the flags are gonna go. Go ahead and create a Domination folder, and then choose where you want to place your first flag. Then you'll go to Map Utilities, Objectives, and then Domination in the content browser. Drag out your Domination objective marker and place it where you would like it. Now the key things with this is that you can either manipulate the zone and the mesh in the Details browser, or you can click on their little diamond thingy to move them in the preview area as well. Once it's positioned, make sure to assign it to a flag letter. This is what players will see in game from looking at it from afar. Then we're just going to copy it and place a few more, kind of like we did with the spawns. They recommend 3+, but you can have as many as you like, I believe. Make sure that you're assigning each one an individual letter. I don't actually know what happens if you assign them as the same letter. Maybe someone can test that and get back to me. Now that I'm done with the flags, I'm going to start placing my starting spawns. Since it's Domination, I sort of want the teams close to each other in a sense, in a way that's somewhat fair to get to the flags that are nearby them. So I'm going to place each team catty corner from each other. Placing them is the same deal as it was for the TDM spawns, so just repeat those steps with 8 on each team.
What's love telling me to do right now?
That's it for the game modes, and we just have a few more things before we can actually build it. Now, my level is completely enclosed, but just in case some wacky VR antics occur, I'm going to place a kill volume underneath the level on the off chance that someone falls through. It can be great for things like cliffs or water hazards too. Much like Pavlov's, just search kill in the actors area and then pull out the kill volume. Then you'll just size the square appropriately so that it fits under your level or wherever you're putting it.
What's love telling me to do right now?
Now the final thing before testing will be to make sure that the bots work. You want to be able to shoot the bots and whatnot, so you want the bots to work. My NavMesh volume, for some reason, that I ported from Pavlov seemed to break in the process when I last tried this. And to fix it, I just had to move the mesh so that it rebuilt it in the project. If you delete it and added a new one from the actors area, that would probably work too. And now we can build it. So go to the package button and then choose your map. You'll see it actually has my previous maps too here, since all the maps reside in the same project technically. The next step is to choose your platform. I'm PCVR only, so I just choose PC only. I think there's a guide in the mod.io area for contractors on how to package it for the quest if you need that to do your testing. But yeah, hit package and then it'll take a couple minutes to complete. Once a package is complete, you can go ahead and exit out of Unreal. To actually be able to test your map in game, you have to move the map from your project folder to the mods test folder that resides in the contracts folder under the Steam Apps folder. It sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. Then you're just going to open up contractors through Steam. Now to test your map, you can open up the menu with B and go to single player and then free roam. Select your test map and then just use the standard layout and hit start. So immediately I noticed something's up with the shading, like all my hands look kind of black. Feel like it might be a reflection capture thing, but something with the lighting's messed up. The bots look good though, they're moving around, and then here you can actually see the logo and how it looks in the mini map. I'm gonna go ahead and go to my mods test folder where I created the shortcut for the editor. I actually did some off-camera editing here to kind of figure out what was going on with the lighting, and then I just did some other minor things that, you know, were really only pertinent to this level in particular. Like I messed with that little mouse's AI for a little bit and changed around some other minor things that I'm gonna do later on with the map. That's not really just for getting this playable. I will go ahead and show you guys, you know, what I did to fix the lighting, because that may be something that comes up when you're trying to import it. I actually created this little metallic spear just so I could test the reflection capture spear. You can see I actually had the reflection set up right because it encapsulates the whole level, and you can see that because the spear reflects correctly. Since I had the spear reflection set up correctly, I really wasn't sure what I was doing because I had a skylight, so I felt like all the skylight should have penetrated all these meshes. I knew from my Pavlov map that these were all set to unlit so that they don't actually pass shadows, so I wasn't sure why the light wasn't passing through them. But then I realized somehow, I don't know if it was through the porting process, my directional light got deleted. So I just added that in there and kind of gave it a little extra luminosity so it shined. And like I mentioned, you could kind of see me following around that mouse. I was just testing the AI. And then I messed with the skybox just because I want to do something later on where maybe the roof comes off and you see the stars or something cool. So I repackaged again off camera, and then I'm gonna pass over the map into the mods test folder. Don't forget to do this because a lot of times I'll just, you know, close out of Unreal and then go straight into contractors and be like, oh shit, and have to close it out and move over the maps. Go ahead and reopen single player and then navigate to your map and then go ahead and start a game. right away. It looks like the lighting's a lot better. Things are looking good. I'm just gonna let this video play, and if you want, you can skip straight to the 21-minute mark. Okay, welcome back. So now that we got the game in a playable state, we're going to prepare it for uploading to mod.io. This next step is kind of optional. We're basically going to take a screenshot. Go into the top left of your preview pane and click on the perspective button. You want to change the viewport type from default to cinematic for this. Then you're going to arrange the cinematic camera so that it views kind of the over level of your level. To actually take the picture, you're going to hit the drop down in the preview pane and then go to high resolution screenshot. I like to set it to 3 so it's a little bit better quality, and then just hit take a screenshot. And then you can click on the where it's saved as to actually view it. It's totally optional though. I just think it looks better than when people, you know, upload a bad photo or just something they have on their hard drive randomly. Makes it look a little more professional, and I think grabs the eye better. Now, I personally like to use Photoshop. You may need to use a freeware version like GIMP or something. But I'm gonna go ahead and open up a PSD of the last map I made, the Wind Waker one. And you can see I actually added the logo to it so that when people look on mod.io, it immediately sees that, you know, brand recognition, logo, whatever. So I'm going to start a new document just so you can see what was on the clipboard. I just copied that before. Basically, this needs to be 1024 by 512. So make a document that's that size. So then I go ahead and just move over the high-res screenshot into here. You have to resize it so that it fits properly, and then I like to, you know, center it so that it'll look good in the mod.io page. I believe there's a way to get it to size properly if you use the command, but then you can't up the like high-res limit, like the 2x or 3x or whatever. Once you have it the way you want it, I just export it as a PNG file. I would also save the PSD as well, so that you can edit it again later on if you need to. I had to make some fine-tune adjustments to move it around to look better, like in-game, because there's like a bar where it says author and it blocks some stuff. You can go ahead and close out of Photoshop, save it again if you want. Then we can get out of the cinematic view in the perspective area. I'm gonna just reset your area. We're gonna repackage it. Reason being because we only did PC only before just to test it, since I'm only PC only, but I do want the, you know, Quest players to be able to play it. I can't test it, so I'll never really know if, you know, it works for them, but maybe people will give me feedback, maybe they won't. Now once the packaging finishes, we're gonna upload it to mod.io. Signing up's really easy. I think you can just verify your email really quick. If you really need it, it's in the tutorial video I linked earlier. Now go up to the mod.io button and then hit upload. In the prompt, select your mod and then hit upload. For the thumbnail, navigate to where you saved your image. And then just add a quick summary. You can change it later if you want. And then that's it. It'll upload your mod. And then you can go to mod.io afterwards and check it out. Just pull up the mod.io page. Open it up here.
Smoke weed every day.
So I'll hit it with a quick F5, and then I'm actually going to go into it here, go to its profile, and change it over to private. That way no one can see it while you make, your changes to the description and whatnot. Now the first one is just the mod's name. It's what everyone sees in the browser. Summary is just like a short little description. It's what people actually see when they hover over it in the mod browser in-game. It does have a 250 character limit, so try to keep it below that. And the description is just sort of any extra information that would be too large for the summary. I like to use it for credits and of course promotion. Like and subscribe. And then here's where you can change the cover screenshot. Just gonna go ahead and save. Now if you go up here to media, you can add things like YouTube videos. I happen to have one that was related to the development, so I'm just gonna add that to it. Then you also have the file browser and the team view where you can invite people. Once you're content, we can go ahead and make the map public again. Just edit it. And then you can either hit this little make public thing or just scroll to the bottom and change it to public and then save. And then there you have it. You've successfully ported a map over from Pavlov. If you made it this far, I just want to thank you for watching. Please drop a comment if you need any help, or if you end up making a map, I'd love to try it out. And if you need any additional resources, make sure to check out the modding section in the Contractors Discord. But aside from that, it's been real. Stay lifted, everyone.